Okay, we're back. I'm going to try again to get through this third part of St. Denis. So there are several questions in these discussion questions about the battle itself. So that'll help to guide you as to what you need to know. Marius writes a note to Cosette and gives it to Gavroche. I think I said that. He says, "Our marriage was impossible." This is on page 456. "I have asked my grandfather. He has refused. I am without fortune, and you also. I ran to your house. I did not find you. You know the promise that I gave you, that I will love you forever. I keep it. I die. I love you. When you read this, my soul will be near you and will smile upon you." So he is planning to die when he goes to the barricade. This is a death note that he sends to her by way of Gavroche. And then he says on the bottom of 456, he writes another note. "My name is Marius Pontmercy. Carry my corpse to my grandfather's, Monsieur Gillenormand," and he puts the address, and he puts that one in his pocket. So that's going to stay on his person in case he dies. Okay, so around page 460, Jean Valjean figures everything out. And here's how this happens. So in those days, if you were going to write something, you'd be using a pen with ink. Like you'd dip your ink and you'd write on the paper, and then the paper would be all wet, right? And it's going to smear. And so you would take something called a blotter and you would put the blotter on top and you would blot the ink dry, and then you would be able to send your letter. And so the blotter is sitting on this tabletop and it's reflected in the mirror up above. And so Jean Valjean in their home, or this at this address where they're staying overnight, he looks up and he sees the note that Cosette wrote to Marius, telling Marius where they will be and that they're going to England. So then he gets it. He knows that she has been keeping secrets from him. She's been meeting Marius in secret. She's been hiding things from him. He feels betrayed. He cannot believe that this love affair was going on and he knew nothing about it. And we're shown how he feels about it on page 461 in the middle. It says, "I no longer exist." When he could no more doubt, when he said to himself, "She is going away out of me," the grief which he felt surpassed the possible. And then on the bottom of 461, it starts to talk about how he feels about Marius. And on the top of 462, he looked within himself, and there he saw a specter, hatred. He hates Marius because of what Marius means, that Cosette will be leaving Jean Valjean and out of his life. Jean Valjean intercepts the letter from Marius to Cosette, the death letter that Gavroche brings. And when he reads it, here's how he feels about it. 465. He had before his eyes that splendor, the death of a hated being. He uttered a hideous cry of inward joy. So he is feeling joyous that Marius has gone to the barricade and is planning to die for this cause. And this is just the best news to Jean Valjean ever. He can just let this play out, let Marius die, and then his problems with Cosette are solved. But on page 466, this is the last page of our section. He says, "All this thinking, all this said within himself, he became gloomy. Then he went down and waked the porter. About an hour afterward, Jean Valjean went out in the full dress of a National Guard and armed." So at one point, he was in the army, or the porter gets him a uniform. I believe he was in the army. He puts on this uniform, he has a weapon, and he is headed to the barricades. So our question as we leave this section is, and we don't have the answer yet, you have to read the next part, but the question is, many of my students think that he is going to kill Marius himself to solve his problems. Others of my students think that he is going to save Marius. So that'll be the next part that we read. Okay, before we take your test, we will have time to answer questions that you bring to class with you. But if you just show up and say, I don't understand this book. I don't understand what's going on. It's very difficult for me to help you to get to a place of understanding unless you can come up with a page number or a section or a specific question here in the review that isn't clear to you. So if you can come with your specific questions and troubles, then we can address those before the test. So good luck, do the reading, and hope you have a good weekend.